Hello, scholars, and welcome to another day of science. Today we're going to be reviewing physical and chemical changes, and then you're going to have another fun activity that will help you make sure that you understand those concepts very clearly. The first thing that we're going to do is take a look at another Brain Pop video about physical and chemical changes. So let's go ahead and do that now.
Check out my vase. What did you make, Moby? You made a vase too? What are physical changes? Everything is made of matter, including this clay. This clay has different properties. It's thick, brown, and soft. A property is a trait that tells you something about an object. A physical change happens when matter changes size, shape, or form. When you cut paper, it goes through a physical change. The paper changes shape and looks a little different, but it's still paper. It still has many of the same properties. When you paint, the paper also goes through a physical change. It's still paper, it's just different colors now. When you rinse your paintbrush, the water changes color. The water goes through a physical change. It's still water, it's just a different color. When you break something, like glass, it goes through a physical change. When you crush a can or break a pencil, they go through physical changes too. Land is always going through physical changes. Over thousands of years, weathering and erosion can change the shape of rocks. When you burn a candle, the wax melts. But after it cools down, the wax becomes hard again. The candle goes through a physical change too. Physical changes can also happen when matter changes states. When you freeze water, it becomes a solid. But when the ice melts, it becomes liquid. Even though the water changes states, it's still water. Uh-oh. The towel went through a physical change. It's wet, but it'll dry out. What are chemical changes? After a substance goes through a chemical change, it becomes a different substance. Well, we can mix flour, sugar, milk, and eggs together to make a batter. When we cook it, the batter changes. We get pancakes. The batter goes through a chemical change. The properties before and after cooking are really different. When you fry an egg, it goes through a chemical change too. It looks, feels, and smells different from a raw egg. You can't undo chemical changes. You can't turn this pancake back into batter, or turn a cooked egg into a raw one. When food spoils, it goes through a chemical change. The food before and after the chemical change is pretty different. If you leave out a slice of apple, its nutrients will go through a chemical change, and the apple will turn brown. Now I can think of lots of examples of chemical changes. When metals rust, they go through chemical changes. When fireworks go through a chemical change, they explode, letting off light and heat. When you burn wood, it goes through a chemical change. right. When you burn a marshmallow, it goes through a chemical change too. Physical and chemical changes happen all around us. When the tree leaves change colors, they are going through chemical changes. Often, things look or feel different after they go through physical or chemical changes. When you heat up clay, it goes through a chemical change. The clay changed from soft to hard. Uh-oh. Now I guess your vase went through a physical change.
All right. So remember, a physical change is when a substance or material changes in the way that it looks, but it doesn't mean that the material is any different. So we talked about when we break our graham cracker in half for a s'mores activity, it's still a graham cracker even though it's now in two different pieces. Or when the chocolate melted, even though it went from a solid into a liquid, it's still a piece of chocolate. And a chemical change is when a substance changes completely and the change cannot be undone. So we talked about that change with the marshmallow. When we burnt the marshmallow, we're unable to take the marshmallow and turn it back the way that it was before. Or when we're baking a cake, after the cake is already built, we can't take out the butter or the cake mix or the eggs again, and that changes can't be undone. So today, you're going to have a little cut and paste activity for physical and chemical changes. So your worksheet says, I'm going to go ahead and zoom in a little bit. So you're going to cut out the dashed boxes on the next page, and you're going to glue them in the correct column. You're going to determine if those boxes are talking about a physical change, talking about how a substance or material looks different, but it's still the same material, or if it went through a chemical change that cannot be undone. And these are the dashed boxes that you're going to be cutting out. So I'll go ahead and read through them. And as I'm reading through them, go ahead and think to yourself, is this a physical change or a chemical change? Freezing water to make ice. Melting wax. And wax is the material made for candles. Substances react to make something new. Frying an egg. A change in state, but doesn't change the material. So this phrase is talking about if a solid is changing from a solid to a liquid, but that material is still the same. May produce gas, light, or heat. Baking a cake. No chemical bonds are created or broken. So another way to put this phrase here is that the material, even though it looks a little bit different, the material is still the same. Difficult to reverse. Folding paper. Now, this is a little bit challenging than the worksheet that you did yesterday with identifying solids, liquids, and gases. But I wanted to challenge you, and I think that you guys will be able to do a really great job of thinking about whether these changes can be undone or whether these changes cannot be undone. And feel free to look back on the videos over the last couple of weeks where we have been learning about these physical and chemical changes and taking a look at the worksheets that we've been looking at. Feel free to go back to those videos and those worksheets to help you determine whether these are physical or chemical changes. And again, you're going to cut out these boxes and you're going to glue them in the correct category. And try your best with this, and then feel free to send me a picture and I can definitely take a look at it and help you know whether you are correct. All right, that's it for science today. Tomorrow we're going to be reviewing some more information that we've learned in the last couple of weeks. I hope you guys have a great day.